Hello everyone and welcome to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Settle in, because today's story is packed with emotion, surprise, and the kind of reveal that sends shockwaves through the entertainment world. Before we dive into every moment, remember to subscribe and share so you never miss a twist. Now, let's get to it. Actor Can Yaman lit up the stage at the launch of his new series with a moment that will be remembered for years. Known for guarding his private life and letting the work speak first, he stood under the bright lights and chose to open a door he had kept tightly closed. After speaking about his ambitious new project, he took a breath, held the microphone with steady hands, and told the room that his personal life had crossed a beautiful threshold. In front of cameras, colleagues, and an audience hanging on every word, he smiled and said this day meant more to him than a premiere could ever hold. Then came the revelation that turned whispers into cheers. He and Demet had tied the knot. The room erupted, applause swelled into a heartfelt roar, and the joy on his face was unmistakable, the kind that doesn't have to be performed. People close to them had suspected that something major was on the horizon. For months, there had been hints, quiet comings and goings, looks that lingered, and a slight change in how they moved through a crowd when they were together. Sources say a wedding had been in quiet preparation for some time, but the date and every precious detail were locked away from prying eyes. Choosing the series launch as the moment to announce it transformed the event into something intimate, almost cinematic. Fans and journalists alike caught their breath when he added that Demet was the person he trusted above all, the one he wanted to honor in front of everyone. The line instantly spread from phone to phone, turning the evening into the headline every outlet wanted first. Demet was there, radiant amid the lights and buzz, and when Can finished, she walked straight to him, wrapped him in a warm embrace, and rested her cheek against his shoulder while the crowd clapped like an orchestra in crescendo. No veil, no sprawling planner's extravaganza, just a simple ceremony that happened far from the eyes of the world, with family and a small circle of close friends to witness it. The kind of celebration built on promises rather than spectacle. And yet, one small detail stole 1,000 flashes. Can's ring, discreet and dignified, still somehow the most photographed sparkle of the night. Between interviews about the new series and hugs from beloved co-stars, Can shared that this was a season of new beginnings on every front. As cameras rolled, he looked relieved, lighter, even playful, the kind of happiness that makes you stand taller without even noticing. After the formalities, the couple faced the press together, fielding questions with soft smiles, letting small hints slip while promising that more would be revealed soon. The tabloids wasted no time chasing the timeline of the surprise, hunting for the setting, the witnesses, the speech, the dress, and the where to next. What fueled the mystery even more was how well the secret had been kept, how their inner circle closed ranks and protected a moment that was theirs and theirs alone. And already, as the night faded into city lights, there was a feeling that Can and Demet were about to dominate the talk of the year. Not just because they are adored individually, but because, together, their energy seemed to hum with a story that was finally finding its way into daylight. As the night went on, the attention around the series intertwined with the storm of personal joy, and an echo settled across the press room. Can hadn't just launched a project, he had launched a new life stage. Known for staying composed in chaotic rooms, he chose this carefully, not impulsively. He wanted the two biggest currents of his world to meet in one shimmering moment. He conveyed that he was stepping into a creative chapter that required his whole heart, and that, by his side, Demet would be there with her unmistakable empathy and spark. The excitement in her eyes was visible to even the last row of onlookers. After the announcement, Demet held his hand and whispered something that made him laugh, and if anyone doubted their ease, that instant melted it away. From those close to the couple came confirmation that everything had been deliberately understated. No publicity machine, no sponsors, no staged exclusives. The whispers said the vows were exchanged in a quiet setting where laughter could be heard without microphones and where love, not production, set the rhythm. Press lenses kept returning to Can's hand, to the ring that symbolized the step they had taken. And then there were his words, spoken simply but with conviction. There was no longer any reason to hide what was making them happy. That confidence rippled outward, like a signal that they had made a promise big enough to face the world's curiosity without flinching. With filming schedules intensifying and international commitments looming, Ken shared that the balance of work and home now felt fuller, steadier. The questions at the end of the night came quick and playful, and they answered what they could, drawing a line gently where privacy still mattered. Every tease of a future reveal only sharpened the anticipation. The tabloids began assembling their puzzles: why now, why this way, who was there, and when would the first official photo surface? And one more: where would they escape to, when the red carpets faded, for a honeymoon that could be quiet enough to belong only to them? The curiosity would feed the headlines for days. In the middle of all that noise, their harmony stood out, unhurried, matching strides. Still, the story of the evening allowed space for one more unexpected turn. During the launch, amid the frenzy of cameras and phones, Ken drew attention for a different phrasing, one that made the room lean in. He talked about his new role, then paused, offering a moment packed with emotion, the kind that feels like it's moving the air itself, and referred to an engagement. People were stunned into silence, then burst into applause. He was glowing, and Demet matched him with a smile that said everything. After that, as they moved into the press area, he told the story of this season in his life with tenderness, describing it as one of the best moments he had ever lived. He said he was at the start of a new chapter professionally and had decided to build a new life with Demet. Those words sparked warmth across the room, and everyone could see she was moved. She hugged him again, right there, a quiet yet resolute demonstration of how united they are. And then, as the rumblings picked up speed, came the leaks. The couple, who had just spoken of an engagement, were said to have already made it official in a refined, minimalist ceremony, attended only by the people who have known their story from the inside. The ring was the clue that kept giving. It became the most talked about detail by the end of the night, an emblem on every trending post. Within hours, messages poured across social media in countless languages, from day one fans of their on-screen chemistry to admirers of the real affection that had grown in the shadows of spotlight life. Ken continued talking about the project with the calm of someone who knows exactly where his energies are going and why. He described long days, rewrites, rehearsals, and the discipline demanded by a lead role, and yet his tone carried an unmistakable joy, the kind that comes from having a harbor to return to. When asked about the wedding specifics, the couple laughed lightly and said now was not the time, not yet, but soon. The uncertainty fed the fire, it always does. This surprise union, these overlapping phrases of engagement and marriage, only deepened the sense that the story would keep unfolding. Even as they tried to contain the details, the wider world continued to stitch together a romance that had always shimmered at the edge of the frame. The final act of the evening brought one last wave. As questions circled and the audience thinned, Ken stood one more time before the cameras and reiterated his gratitude for the love in the room. He had stepped out of the media storm many times in his life, choosing distance over intrusion, but tonight he stepped toward it because some happiness deserves a stage. Then he repeated, with simple certainty, that he and Demet had gotten married. The air lifted once more, this time with a gentle kind of applause, almost like a toast. His expression, all softened edges and steady light, became the image of the night. And so the story settled into a bright constellation, the career leap, the private promise made public, the ring that said the quiet part out loud, the embrace that stilled the room, and the hints of a honeymoon that may already be planned down to the last sunrise. What comes next will be watched closely, not because of scandal or spectacle, but because the two of them have that rare ability to turn a crowd into a confidant. They said they will open the door a little wider in the coming days, they will share more, they will invite everyone into the memory of how it all looked, sounded, and felt. Until then, the echo of this night carries. The premiere was supposed to be about a character, it became the setting for a love story finding its most daring line. And in that moment, when a career milestone met a personal vow, you could see why they chose it. A launch is not just an ending to a process, it is the start of an unknown. Hand in hand, they chose that unknown together, and that choice, more than anything, is what people will remember. As the lights dimmed and the city outside hummed, Ken walked Demet past the last of the cameras. They waved, they disappeared into a corridor of bouquets and congratulatory whispers, and the night wrapped itself around them like a curtain falling at the right time. And now, our story reaches its last note for today. This has been Turkish Spotlight Secrets, bringing you the moments behind the moments. If you loved spending this time with us, make sure to subscribe and share so more eyes can be here next time when the curtain rises again. Until we return with the next chapter, goodbye for now.